Hello everyone, and welcome to more Drawing with Dannphan. Hello. I know I'm a couple minutes late to start. Just had to get a few things set up. Before I was actually working on the Reaper campaign trailer. There's a lot of thought and work going into that. At the very least, there's more thought going into it than the first, where I just kind of had to get it out super duper quick. And I guess I am kinda, what's the word? I guess I am crunching because it's like only a couple days the campaign is supposed to start, and I'm still working on the trailer, but you know how it is. Mostly everything's done. Still have to make some, like, thumbnails for the tiers. And I still need to finish this page. This one particular page that I decided to do on stream, which I guess is a little bit risky because I only do these streams once every week. But yes, this page will be a page also featured in the trailer, which is almost done, but you know. There is a lot of thought going into the trailer. So I'll be excited to also share that with you guys. I was gonna see if I could get another animated trailer done. In the end, though, I figured maybe a motion comic style might be easier. Well, I guess also cheaper, because it's something that I could do myself. Is do like kind of a motion comic-y thing. But yeah, as it stands right now, I got the voice acting lines done. I got most of the motion animations done, and I got music commissioned. That's nice. I think I might need a few more sound effects because it still feels like kind of a quiet trailer without sound effects. You know, just voice acting and music is not really enough. I feel like I sound effects. I feel like it needs a little something. So I'll figure that out. But I think I should be able to finish it like today or tomorrow. So, you know, this is stuff to look forward to, right? It's gonna be launching March 25th. Still gotta figure out the Fund My Comic page too. At one point I started working on the Fund My Comic page, but you know, it's a fairly new site, so some things are still not really quite figured out, and I didn't exactly see a place to save a draft. This is, I know, I might sound very stupid when I say this. I just didn't see any place to like save it without publishing it, so I just didn't save any of it. At some point, I will get back to that, of course, because I did want to launch it also on Fund My Comic, launch them both simultaneously. So, yeah, we'll have to figure that out at some point. It is surprisingly hot in this room. I am probably going to drink all of this water because of just how hot it is already in this room. Ugh. Alright. Let's get into the page, shall we? Oh, share screen. Hopefully it works this time, honestly. Some issues with trying to get this. Oh, I wonder if I'm making a mistake when I click share entire screen. I wonder if it would actually work better if I shared tab instead? I don't know, man. I don't have all the answers. Alright, so for the most part, this has been untouched from the last stream we did. I'm already drinking so much water. It's hot. It's unexpectedly hot up here. I guess spring is upon us, so I shouldn't be too shocked. Yes, so all I really did was I did a little bit of boring work, like adding some, well, I didn't even completely add all of the whites, but yeah, so that'll help separate the characters, and I'll finish doing that, of course. And then I drew the chicken head, because I didn't draw it last time, although I think I kind of messed it up a little bit. It doesn't look that great. So I might do some editing there on the chicken head. But yeah, for the most part, everything's kind of just the same. So let's get back to work, starting on Helga. I think I covered all the for the most part. Just like a little bit here and there that's like not really filled in. But yeah, for the most part, should be good. Alright, let's work on that chicken head then. Get right down to it. Yeah, okay, so this is a little bit too get a little bit less gobble gobble here. I think this should be around the eye. Maybe something like that. Part of it is also just trying to keep it consistent with the first time that I drew this chicken, so that it's not all over the place. And let's see. Very light grays here. Very light. Almost indistinguishable. Let me know if the music is too loud or anything, or if there is no music, if it's just not working this entire time and you're just hearing me super quiet over here. I think this is how I drew the chicken last time. If not, I will have to go back and edit this, but you know, that's fine. I'm okay with editing things so long as I have not printed them first. Because that's honestly the worst thing. Is go through printing the comic and all that effort, and then, uh-oh, everything is ruined. Whoopsie daisy. Man, this is way too soon, and I don't know what I'm thinking when I do that. Okay. Oh boy, is the chicken in shock? Oh yeah. Chickens. It's the most expression you're gonna get out of this chicken. Hey Ray, what's going on? So for the most part, I guess this stream is just gonna be me putting in the tones, and then I guess moving on to the next panel, because like most of the work is, well, the line work pretty much is already done. Add a little shadow for her chin. A bit of shadow for her flowing tears. Some shadows for the folds, I guess. Probably nothing too extreme. Am I the only one who, like, fills stuff in like this? Probably. I'm proud. But I must accept this fate. Sometimes they also use the fill bucket. That's a little bit more normal. To use the fill bucket to fill things in. Breaking. It's just like, sometimes the fill bucket is sucky, you know? Sometimes it don't do. Like there. See that? Didn't do. Worst tool ever. Best part about these streams is just the ASMR of my clicky wheel. It is the best. But yeah, Ray says definitely not the only one. There's also, it's not lasso fill, but it's one of these or something where you can just like, you know, select a shape and have it filled in. Maybe it's some sort of thing for lasso fill. I don't know the tool, obviously, but I'm pretty sure it's one of the selection methods where you select some line work and have it filled in. And I don't normally do that. Maybe I should though, because I think that's what most people do. Yeah, that's sort of close to shadows. That's almost what shadows would be. Yeah, okay. You can probably tell, but I don't have a big... Whoa, okay, sorry. That is a glitch of the pen sometimes. It just like eternally keeps drawing and never stops. Good tablet otherwise, though. 10 out of 10. Hey, at least it doesn't squeak. We can say that much. No matter how bad this tablet may be, it doesn't squeak. And that's all I care about. Alright. Boobs. Are they gonna be pitch black boobs? Maybe. I can only imagine what people think when they are not paying attention to the screen and just hear me saying random shit like that. Are these going to be pitch black boobs? There. That. It kind of works. It's looking good. Thanks, Michael. Hey, Moss Hive Network. What's up, man? I guess now is the time to mention, sorry if I don't read your message. I am, like, glancing back and forth between the screen and the chat. So there is a possibility that I may miss the message. Feel free to, of course, type it in again if it's an emergency, especially. Like if my screen goes black, or if I just suddenly stop drawing, that is a sign that something has gone horribly wrong on the stream, even if I don't realize it, you know? So feel free to say something if this is the case. Okay. Drawing be like that. How dare you not have an extra set of eyes? I know, right? I wear glasses, so in theory I should have 4 eyes, but they don't work, you know? Is the progress good so far? On the comic? Yeah, I would say so. Overall, at least. I would say it's been pretty good. I'm distracted, like, at the moment, right? Because I'm working on campaign stuff, and campaign stuff is a little bit different from, like, working on the actual comic. I'm hoping I can get on more, like, streams and shows to promote it also. I know I'm usually not that good at just, like, popping up on other people's channels. Part of this is because I'm shy, and I do gotta break that. Gotta stop being shy. Especially when there are, like, definitely people out there who, or at least I'm told, would love to have me on their show. And for the record, you guys can reach out to me as well. But yeah, there was a point in time where there were a bunch of comic shows, or streams, I guess I should. There used to be a ton, right? And then they all started, like, kind of dropping off at some point. For various reasons. I think YouTube kind of got worse and worse to be. It became really difficult for people to get shows up and running. And, you know, not even to mention drama stuff. Drama stuff is always annoying, but it is what it is, right? There's always drama whenever you start a community. Let me actually make this a little transparent so I can see the line work. We're cooking. Alright, there we go. Not bad. But yeah, I did enjoy quite a few of the comic streams back in the day. And I like hearing about new indie comics, of course. As well as, of course, yes, being entertained. Entertainment matters. It does. You have to entertain your guests. You have to talk about interesting things, guys. It's part of the reason why maybe perhaps I'm not the best draw streamer. I maybe worry a little bit too much if I'm being entertaining. But can you blame me? I mean, I know that you have to keep people's attention somehow, after all. Ooh, boy. Yeah, I shouldn't shouldn't work on the shadows too much for this string. I'm also wondering, like, I should probably put a texture on it instead of just having it be blank string like this. Alrighty. I'm thinking maybe this leg over here is a little too thin? But I don't know, maybe it's the opposite, maybe it's a little too thick, It's one of those things where perspective kinda messes with my brain a lot. This can probably be a thicker shadow in general. Same with this, more of a shadow here. No. That's another thing that I like to do that I don't know if anyone else does. I select the transparent option to also just erase things with the same tool. It makes me very finicky. I can say that much. I'm very finicky with my art these days. Maybe it's partially a good thing because you do maybe get it. I'm saying maybe after everything I say. It is possible you will get a more polished piece, but there is such a thing as over-editing. When an artwork looks too edited, and then it loses what makes it look natural. So that is also a possibility. Hopefully I will not over-edit my art. I get a good balance, you know? I was always extremely timid about using black tones for anything. I never really learned inking. I still kind of, you know, I'm just learning as I do. And I'm sure I'm getting mentally preparing for this as we speak. In like another year, I'm gonna look at this and be like, oh my god, it's terrible. How could I have drawn this? I've published. For now, I will be comfortable with what I can do. And, yeah. Just try to do the best I can and be comfortable with what I can do. With time, it'll just kind of naturally get better. I hope. I hope I'm not the type of person who backslides instead. That would be terrifying. But no, that's, for the most part, I think I am seeing improvements. Even if it's not at the rate that I would like. Obviously, everyone wants to improve as fast as possible, but it's not how it goes. Everyone improves at different rates, and it has to do with a variety of different reasons. You just kind of gotta roll with it. I'm too zoomed in. Yes, I know. I can probably the lines for some of this, so I don't need to really put too many too many, at least, super dark black tones here. Hear, I don't know if you can hear, but I can hear Adam like in the shower playing one of his mixes. I hope you can't hear that, otherwise the entire stream is copy struck. It's all over, man. I have my own music playing, so hopefully that's like canceling it out even if you can hear it. I've been told that these, like, Yeti mics just pick up everything. I'm not sure how true it is, but I am, like, surprised just how much you can hear with it, even, like, when it's on its lowest sound settings. I'll get back to streaming eventually. Sorry for depriving the world. I did enjoy your streams though, Ray. Legitimately. You had some interesting guests on too. Another stream, well, it's really podcasty stream that I've enjoyed is the Ink Pulp podcast. I still occasionally enjoy the Alterna streams. Peter has some, like, interesting topics that he brings up. And, you know, even if I don't agree with his assessments, I still find it interesting to hear alternative perspectives on, like, what comics should be. He's big on, like, newsstand stuff, which is not really my game, but I get it. I get the appeal of, cheaper and more accessible comics. And I think that's the main point that he likes to make, is to try to make comics more cheaper and accessible. Was my elbow. Don't worry. I don't normally draw on this chair specifically because of, like, how much I hate this chair. Adam likes this chair, so, you know, we keep it around, and I typically do my videos in it, but it's very hard. And it has armrests, which you will bump your arms into, because you're never going to rest your arms on them. It's only there so that you will bump your arms into it. That is the sole purpose. No other purpose. We can't hear Adam showering. Thanks for the mental image, though. You're welcome. That one's for free. Alrighty. it's one of those things where, like, he has a little bit of a crazy schedule, and I gotta do streams now. I gotta do streams at specific times. Really, I should be working on videos too, but, you know, we'll figure that out later down the line. I know what I want my next videos to be. It's just like a matter of timing for recording them. And so basically, he just woke up. At the time where I had begun this stream, he basically just woke up. Hence why he's in the shower. He has very strange sleep schedules. It is difficult to keep up with. No. Let's add some texture, at least a little bit of texture to this string. Oh man, you can tell I was tired while doing this. It's all over the place. That's fine though. It's okay to have a little bit craziness. So long as it's just a little bit. That's what I tell myself. But yeah, also guys, if you have any, I guess, suggestions for other stream shows you'd like to see me on, you can feel free to recommend me to some, and I will check them out. Because I will need to do the work of promoting, of course. So it's a free-for-all. Sort of. That's alright. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be done. Okay. I think that's about it for the blacks. Don't take that out of context. You know what I mean. What did I put this as? Like 20? 30? I think it was 20. I have a very strange method of doing these gray tones, in case you haven't figured that out. Did I want the boots to be colored? I think the boots are gonna be colored too. Oh, you know, oh yeah, quotations colored. Line, I guess it's fine. Or cross. Cross is also good. I like cross for clothing. I like the way it looks. It's kind of like stitches, but it's not, you know? Right, and hair's gonna be darker. Remember, kids, don't try any of this at home, because the way that I do art is always wrong. Always. I am a noob. I am still learning myself and just figuring out how to get around this crazy world, you know what I mean? What the heck is going on around here? Who knows? I'm just vibing. too dark? It might be too dark. It might look odd. I can't remember which one. The boots. I'm pretty sure the boots were the same as like one of these tones. Stop judging me. I forget things sometimes. Alright, you know what? Yeah. Dark is fine. I do think maybe. Okay. Do the highlights. Once again, remember, everything I do is wrong. Do not take inspiration from how I draw. And that is all. Alright, I think she is good. I think she is... Oh, wrong one. I think she is solid. I do like the wheel for zooming in and out, but gotta say, it's a little bit not as precise as I'd like it. And I know there's probably some setting or something where I can change that accordingly. But for now, you know, I can just switch to using this, which is a little bit more precise. Alright. What is thy monster? And this is a fictional monster that I just kind of put together for the second book. It's kind of like a mixture of a couple things. As you can tell, it's like a little bit weaselly, a little bit hedgehoggy, a little bit like tigery, like saber-toothed tigery, you know. I think it turned out looking like it could be a monster, you know. I don't know if anyone is gonna put it on their like top 10 favorite monsters exactly, but it's certainly workable. It's a workable monster. What am I doing? I used to feel like a normal person. I just gotta like fix some of these spots, or my OCD will go insane. Okay. I'm thinking like the background will be like speed lines or something anyways. So it is good to fix these while I have the chance before I forget about them. Alright. And now black tones. Wolfy. I guess it is a little bit wolfy too, huh? I didn't have wolf in mind, but, you know. The way it snarls, I guess, is kind of wolfy, right? So there's that. thought it was a feral wampas? Wampas? Have I seen that word ever in my life? I don't know what that is. Ooh, looking good. I'm drawing a tavern right now. Ooh, love taverns. It's like one of Adam's favorite things about fantasy art. It's nice taverns. Because they have like a special cozy feel, you know? The limbs look like a mix between Sloth and Wolverine. Well, I kind of like explained it, I think last stream, but I like really big claws. I like claws in general. I like just drawing claws, even hands, like clawy hands. And it's not because I find it necessarily attractive. It's quite the opposite, where I find it extremely creepy, so therefore it's like perfect, you know? Especially when you're drawing monsters, naturally. So I don't really have a good method doing this, but let me try to just wing it. Because like even this line work is super sketchy. And it's because there's just so many damn fucker, you know? So maybe I'll start by just doing the blacks and then doing some negative space for where I drew the quills. Like just get the general shape of where the shadow should be first. I think one of my more insecure things about this monster is the fact that he looks a little bit different every time you see him. Just a little bit. Just enough for you to notice. And part of it is just because I don't really have, yeah, maybe I can just make these lines here white. That'll work. I don't have a lot of experience actually doing monsters, let alone creating my own monster. So, you know, there may be some inconsistencies here and there. At the very least, proportional inconsistencies. I try to keep design-wise everything as much as I can the same. But you know, I just kind of always struggle with proportion stuff. I think in general, proportions are just difficult. Ugh. Just something that you gotta learn as you go. How do I want to do this snarling effect? Alright. We're cooking. We're cooking. What's up, Gabe? Yeah, redrawing the same thing the exact same way is difficult. Well, especially when you're doing the same thing, but like in a million different angles and perspectives and, you know. Keeping art consistent is like its own kind of skill. Because sometimes you just draw something that looks nice completely by accident. And then you drive yourself crazy, like, how did I do that? What magical button in my brain did I press? Kind of mentioned it in that video I did where I talk about improving my art in a year. It's like I see a lot of people do that thing where they're like, they draw something nice once and can't figure out how they did it. And sometimes, you know, professional artists will just like have bad days where they're not drawing the way that they want, and that ticks them off. It goes both ways, you know? Comics Legend. Hello, I wanted to say how much I enjoyed reading Sonic City Witch. It was a great action-adventure story mixed with cyber punch and magic elements I hadn't read before. Looking forward to more. Well, thank you. I'm glad you enjoyed Sonic City Witch. That was a really, a long project. And, long projects are difficult. Especially when they're just kind of sitting in the wings, you know, and not really updating for a long time. But I'm glad that we got the whole thing done and people finally got to read the ending. A long time to get to that ending. But people finally got to read it and it was nice. Okay. And most of the shadows are basically done. I do some on this arm, perhaps. Dannphan, do you prefer monster girls or monster boys? Are you asking me if I'm gay, bro? It's a very roundabout way of asking if someone's gay, but... I mean, I prefer humans. But if I had to pick one, I guess monster boys. I don't know. Dannphan exposed. She likes monster boys. Da-na-na-na-na-na. Long project, but rewarding when it's... Oh yeah. It's like... a load off my back. I meant like drawing them. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I guess both. I think maybe I enjoy drawing monster boys more, right? But I guess monster girls would get more clicks. So I'm incentivized to draw more monster girls. I think I mentioned it before, but my favorites are werewolves. I like werewolves. Werewolves are fun. Hint. But, you know. I could draw a big buff werewolf dude. But is some furry going to come across my channel and be like, ooh, new content? Yes, this is for me. What's that meme for the two fingers like is for me? No, it's not for you. I just like werewolves. Go away. Ah. Not gonna draw your furry porn. Not gonna happen! Okay. Man. Imagine being around during, like, that transition, you know? You like drawing werewolves. Every day you draw, like, a cool werewolf, right? And then the furries came. In more ways than one. Then you're faced with a decision. Do I keep drawing werewolves knowing that people are jacking off to this? Do I want to attract this audience? Tough decisions. But I imagine there are artists out there who had to make those decisions. Do I appease the gooners? Or do I switch my material? I think for a lot of horror comic people in particular, they probably kept the gooning away by just like randomly posting some super horrific gore. But I don't know, maybe some people are into that too. You can goon to anything, you know? If there's one thing the internet has taught us, is that nothing is ungoonable. Alright. We're cooking. We're just gonna add some negative space to some of the line work here. And I don't think I'll add too many tones. Maybe I'll actually, if I do add any tones, maybe it'll be like just speed line stuff. Because I think that these black tones kind of get the job done. And then maybe I'll just add a little bit of like hatching a little bit around the eyes. And goon is a relatively new term. When did that start? Goon has a complicated history. Because originally it was referring to, I believe, something that Mormons did. And then it started to mean something entirely different. A year or two ago, that's about right, sure. That's like it's been around for a couple years, right? I think it's become more popular because people started misusing it to mean something entirely different, like I mentioned before. Like calling someone a gooner, I think, is part of the reason why it picked up popularity, because of what that implies. Oop, wrong button. Hey Dannphan, our chat random question, but if Virgil from DMC sang karaoke, what song would he sing? You mean like a song from the DMC games, are you thinking? Or are you just thinking any song in general? Because I would just assume he would sing one of the songs from the DMC games. Because you gotta promote the soundtrack, naturally. But maybe I'm just thinking of it through a business perspective. Hey Dannphan, keep up with your comic, you are very cute. Thank you. Not even on screen, and I still get complimented. No, I appreciate the support. I also just in general appreciate that people acknowledge that I do comics, because a lot of people even now are like, wait, you do comics? I had no idea. It's like, yeah, that's why I'm on YouTube. Alright, monster looking pretty sharp. Pretty sharp stuff. Let me mess with the line thickness a little bit. Yeah, looking good. Looking good. I did want to have like one claw around her braid and then one claw behind. Is this too complicated for me to do? Maybe right now it's a little bit too complicated. Maybe I'll get back to that later. Now let's just worry about these two boys over here. Leg is so twisty. Is it a good thing that it's twisty? Or is it all fucked up? Because I know some people would be like, oh yeah, it's good that it's twisty. It's all like gesture-like. But then some people would be like, nah, it's all fucked up. A leg doesn't move like that. Got a guy with a fucked up leg, Dannphan. What are you thinking? I suppose it depends on perspective. Part of me likes twisty. I think that's just because I like interesting, exaggerated lines. Which is part of the reason why I'm a little bit more in tune with drawing like cartoony stuff. In general, anyways. Not any, you know, not any cartoony style, obviously, but always kind of been attracted to things that were exaggerated. Now, I don't like this going on here. You see what don't like that So I'm gonna move him a little bit. Which I can do. So I can move him like this. I can also move him down, I guess. What's that? It's probably fine like that. Part of me is like, no, part of his leg is blocked off. It's ruined! But, yeah, you see what I mean about the wheel snapping a little bit too much? Let's think about, okay. Can move him further back. Yeah, you know what? Maybe it is better further back. Maybe it is better to see his other leg instead of having it vanish inside the monster. I've made my decision. Alright. Let's get some tones on this boy. Spent a while being indecisive about how to draw this guy's beard, and in the end I just decided, I'll just fucking scritch it on. It's the easiest way to do it, is to just do like some sort of scruff thing. Beards are hard, because if you want to show their mouth, it's like lame. This whole other rule set. Most people who do beards, full beards, you know, not like just scruff. Most people do it so that basically their beard becomes their mouth. And that's how they do the expressions. But I didn't want that because I thought, no, that'll make him look way too old. And his beard look maybe way bigger than it should be. Because I was kind of, you know, thinking in terms of he shouldn't look too old, I eventually just decided, okay, scruff is probably, it's just slightly longer scruff. But yeah, that's probably just the only way to do it, really. And have it work the way that I need it to. For now, anyway. Maybe when I learn how to draw beards better, I'll have his beard just grow. I mean, real beards do that, don't they? So it wouldn't be completely out of place. As I've said before, if looks like I'm not drawing anymore, do say something. And I'll try to fix that. They have a new puppet warp feature for Clip Studio 4, which... Yeah, you know, I saw some people talking about that. I got, like, the first upgrade of Clip Studio way back, and then I downgraded afterwards. And can you guess why? I'll let you in the chat take some guesses as to why I felt like I had to downgrade after upgrading. It's something annoying. It's a specific feature about a lot of new software products that they added to Clip Studio that I don't like. And in my opinion, it kind of ruins the entire program. So I had to downgrade to get rid of that. Even if it meant losing some features, I had to do it. Let's see. Have new perpetual license, not subscription only. Look into their new perpetual license. Yeah. No, that's how I did the first upgrade. I did it that way. Their sales are a little bit annoying because my debit card denies them, and then I miss the sale because my debit card denies them. Ugh. So annoying. But anyways. The reason why I had to downgrade and I could not use the new version is because they have it's the same feature as a lot of software has nowadays, where they will not let you work on the program offline. You have to always be logged in to use it, or at the very least to save. This is not something that was a part of Clip Studio in the beginning. It's one of the many reasons why I liked Clip Studio. You could work offline. Imagine that. Imagine actually owning the program that you bought. Now, there's a bunch of reasons for why they decide to not let you have the ability to work offline. Part of it has to do with updates. Part of it has to do with like these certain settings for like uploading your files. Not that I had that enabled, but I just cannot, for the life of me, justify using the updated version if it means I can't work offline anymore, because then it affects my entire workflow. Then if I travel somewhere, God forbid they don't have Wi-Fi, or you know if the internet goes out, I just have to like sit around doing nothing until the power comes back, or the Wi-Fi comes back, or whatever. It's just, it messes with everything, and there's just no good reason for it. Like, they just don't have to have it work like that. Yep, I forgot to put the lighthouse on. There we go. Alright. Looking pretty sharp there, Reagan. Anyway. I guess the puppeting tool would be kind of interesting for animation. If you wanted to do, like, you know, I was just talking about earlier, doing like motion comic stuff for the Reaper trailer. It doesn't look like they've been doing much for animation in terms of their updates, but it would be nice to see them like extend it and give it some love here and there. This is a little bit too far out, I realize now. Yeah, let me just leave it like that. That's insane to require you to be online to save a file. Never I'm going to have to never upgrade. Yeah. I forget which update it was, but I think it was when they started the update pass thing. They started the you have to be online to save your files. Which is especially infuriating if you're working on a file and like midway through the power goes out, right? But let's say you have a laptop like me, so you can still have the file open. You didn't lose all your progress. But now, the clock is ticking because you have to keep this file open until the power comes back on and until you have your Wi-Fi again. And you're just watching the batteries slowly go down on your laptop, just waiting for that power to come back on. Please, save my file. I can save this. If only I have the Wi-Fi. Very nerve-wracking stuff. I've had experience like those when I realized, oh my god. Save offline. Why would they do that? Oh god, why? I'm sure you can imagine. Luckily, the internet informed me which version I had to download to downgrade. And I will permanently have the file of the downgrade saved on my computer. Because God knows if one day they decide that they don't want you to be able to downgrade anymore, they pull a Microsoft on you, right? Fucking Microsoft and their upgrades that are actually downgrades, but yeah. I want to make sure that I have the version of Clip Studio that actually works. That's all I'm gonna say. X question mark. I was planning to upgrade from 3, but I'll pass for now. Yeah, well, it's like one of the... Sorry, I said upgrade, I think. I meant update. One of the updated versions of Clip Studio enables its line to save your files, which is ridiculous. It is a thing, though. I think a lot of Adobe also has you do that, but no one should ever copy Adobe in terms of, like, how they decide to handle their programs. Basically done with the black tones here. I'll just add in some line work. Nothing too fancy, but you know. 10 out of 10. Thank you. Using updated version of anything is a trip, basically relearning. I'm sure there's a way to work offline that a YouTube video can reveal. Well, the way is downgrading. It's just downgrading it. Well, it'll revert it back to not doing that to you. Maybe there's a way to like hack it. Just hack it so that you can get the upgrade without it trying to shame you for not having an internet connection when you're trying to save a file. I wonder if it's also like something that they enabled because of, I don't know, maybe like fear of piracy for their program? It just seems like such a bad way to deal with any kind of piracy, though. Now, I'm reading that you can save offline in Clip Studio, you just have to have internet connection at least once every 15 days. That must be a new thing. That's a little bit confusing though. How do they know if you have internet connection once every 15 days? That's a little bit confusing for me. They're like keeping data on whether or not you're on your computer every day, and then they're keeping track. Line work. Yeah, that's the first time hearing of that, though. I've definitely had it happen to me. Like, multiple... yeah, it's gotta be a new thing, because I definitely ran into quite a lot of problems with, like, internet just randomly blinking out, because that happens all the time here. It's even happened during these streams, where internet will just randomly go out, and then I can't save my file, and I get very angry. Until I downgrade it, of course, and now that's not an issue, but... Hey Maverick, here's a hello that cost me $2. Well, welcome aboard. Dannphan, which is version of CSP that actually works? It checks license verification every 15 days? I don't know exactly, but you are allowed to save files offline. Well, that's gotta be a new thing. That's gotta be a new thing that they... Maybe I complained enough about it that they actually listened to me. I have occasionally commented on their Twitter page about that, and how, like, it's the worst feature of any art program is when it won't let you save offline. So I don't know, maybe they changed it, but it's still like, do you really have to check the license? Is this helping piracy? To just constantly be pinging me? I don't know. Don't know, man. Wrong side. Sorry, too zoomed in, I know. Let's go into the tones. Cross. Okay. And frizzy hair. Been doing something slightly special with the hair for this character. I'll keep doing it until I get it too annoyed to do it anymore. Anyways. But I'm putting a gradient in his hair. You know? Include his eyebrows in there too. In a way, kind of semi-Freeman inspired. Because I think it's just neat. I think that's all I had to do for this one. And then we just have Ichabod, and I guess we're done. That went by fairly quickly, at least compared to other drawing streams, of course. What are we at? 1 hour 30? It's practically a Friday with Dannphan stream, it's so short. My god. Lighthouse this thing. There we go. Woo! Now we're moving and grooving. But it just so let me know if you can't see me drawing anymore. I get nervous when it suddenly does a weird loady thing. Wrong with CSP, because I always save locally and I work offline. Well, if you always work offline, then it would never update. It was the update that changed everything. That's what I said. Like, I talked about this a while ago. Change how the, thing. I wouldn't know because I downgraded a while ago. I think it was after the very first, if you can remember, the very first, CSP update pass thing. I think it was version 2? Ever since version 2, I was like, oh, they ruined it, and then I didn't bother with it anymore. Downgraded and never looked back. And that's been my life. But you know, 2 other companies out there just never do that. Just never add a "you must be online" feature. It's always bad. Nobody likes it ever. Stop. Get some help. Just make his eyes black. It's fine. Boop, 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 boop. Ah. Am I entertaining you with my many bops? Is this not the content you signed up for? We boppin'. We boppin' so good. perhaps keep it backed in a flash drive? I keep it backed with carbonite, which also occasionally will not let me save my files. Different reason, though. Different reason. Can I see that finished beast again? Yeah, sure, why not? There it is. I might fiddle with it a little bit more at some point. Maybe add more hatching, I don't know. I feel like it's kind of fine as it is. But, you know, girl likes to overthink some things. That's how we get places. Did you watch the new Gundam movie? I didn't. I think the only Gundam series that I've ever seen, like the actual brand Gundam, not just any Gundam type thing. The only Gundam series I've seen is the original. It is Mobile Suit Gundam, right? That was a trip. I was not expecting it to end the way that it did. I was very confused, but you know, people like that. I can see why people really like the original for sure. It has a very particular vibe, and it's not afraid to like show two perspectives of a war, which I think is undervalued sometimes, you know? I think a lot of writers just worry that if they don't make the enemy the most evil thing ever, or if they don't make let me rephrase that, if they don't make a villain completely unreasonable, some writers worry that somebody is going to relate to the villain and then they won't be able to tell their story properly because of that. But I've seen plenty of people relate to very unreasonable villains over the years. It's kind of just gonna happen no matter what. People will find a way to somehow relate to your villain. I think it makes more sense when you allow a villain to have a certain amount of reasoning, and it doesn't necessarily mean that they're right in their reasoning, but it just kind of helps you understand why they do what they do. Like, you can understand why a villain does something without taking their side, of course. But, yeah. It's my general perspective on that. Was, I guess I went a little bit off topic. Was the new Gundam movie good? Let me know what you thought. I guess it's also something I kind of played around with in Sonic City Witch itself. Like, it's not as though the witches don't have a reason to be upset, but that doesn't mean that they're right exactly, because their actions are still wrong, you know? How they go about fixing their problem is still wrong. And you know, it kind of just goes to show that even if you have a point, even if you have a good point, nobody's gonna take you seriously if you act like a psycho, basically. There's a certain balancing act to solving problems. I just decided that this line should be different. It looks better. I like it better. This should also be shorter. It's better. Preferred. Alright. I address this head on by having one of my BBEG's shtick be that he captures his followers by being seemingly reasonable. In reality, he's just enough lies to get people on his side. Yeah, I mean, that's a tale as old as time. Pen messing up again. Think about, like, even biblically, the whole point of Satan is that he's trying to convince you that he's the one that's right and that you want to join his side. He's the cool guy or whatever. Alright. Not too shabby, not too shabby. Let's you just add a little bit of texture on like the edges of these lines, just on the edges. I won't go too crazy. Alright, almost done. Guess that's a wrap, huh? Well, I'm not really a fan of how that shine looks on his hair. Maybe I'll fiddle with that a little bit more. Yeah, drawing all warbly. Drawing all warbly, and it messes up all my lines. This darn stylus. There we go. I think I like that. I think. And there we have it. And I still gotta draw, of course, the background, which is basically this just gonna be like yes, with some maybe some grass textures. But yeah, gives you a general idea anyways. Ooh, my bad, don't mind me. Okay. Well, I'm not saying it'll look like this exactly. Let me cook. Let me cook for a bit. There's my focus lines. What my focus lines look like right now. That's not bad. Okay. Alrighty. It's not bad. We can cook with this. I don't know. Something about how perfectly even this is like throwing me off. Maybe it's just better perfectly even. Trying to get the full page in view. Alright, I could literally mess with this for hours, man. Not that I would want to, but... It's just like so slight, the differences, you know? Yeah, I'll add an extra one. Just... is slightly off. Something I can also do is I can add borders, which can be helpful for moments like these, where I need to separate things. What am I doing for this grass? Am I using grassland? Grassland is a classic. This is classic grass right here. If you don't use grassland, what are you even doing? This is like, for those of you who don't know, this is like super meta. It's the meta grass. But it's grassland, man! Can never go wrong with grassland. You finish these pretty fast? Well, to be fair, like, I had already done most of the work on the last stream. And this was basically just doing the finishing tones and touches like that. So this was the easy work, essentially. Can I make this less... I forget what these settings do occasionally, so... Oop! I remember what that one did. Maybe better. The thing that's been bugging me is there's like these... Oh, hang on. It's like these two gaps here. You know what I mean? It's like it doesn't have to be that way. It's fine that they're there. It doesn't ruin anything per se. It's just like, but what if they weren't, you know? Dream with me. Oop, that's way too big. See, this brush, it sucks. You know why? Because it's not grassland. If it's not grassland, then what's the point? Probably way too low down on the page, huh? I can move her up, but should I just move everyone up? Like, 'cause I feel like this is a pretty good spacing of all the characters. So it feels bad to mess with it. Let me try moving everyone up slightly. Not like it's that much of a difference, but every little bit counts, you know? overall, I like this. Let me change this angle. Maybe I should change it to line so that it moves with the motion. Or would that look too much? Am I getting a little bit too stylized here? Yeah, you know what? That is too stylized. Don't like it. Back to cross. Go back to God. Yeah, the only other thing is like maybe some variation in tone. The grass would be something. So like back here I can separate it, and then maybe up here I can be a little bit more stylized. Nah, don't worry about it. It's fine like that. Alright, sorry. I spend a very long time just like fussing over things, and I probably will fuss over this page a lot more. I'll just save that for maybe off screen to fuss over things. Because it's just... yeah, it requires a lot of thought and debate and all that stuff. You know what? I never really added any texture to his teeth. But I guess maybe I should, because it's kind of a big part, besides its claws, of course. His teeth are also important. It's just like slight texture. I won't go super crazy. Just enough so that it like draws the eye, and people are like, "Oh, that's dangerous. Don't want to get hurt by those teeth." Those teeth specifically. Yeah. Now, you see now I'm fussing a little bit. I kind of don't need to do this claw when it's behind her head, but we do anyway. I didn't add many, if any, tones to the chicken. That is also something I will debate and ponder over for a million years. Should I add more black tones to the chicken? Right now, I kinda like that the chicken is super plain white against her because it pops out more. But I could also do like some sort of hatching thing. Don't know. In general, the tones right now are very light. Maybe I should change that. Maybe I should make all of the tones darker. I'll fuss over it a bit more later. But for now, I think I'm just gonna let it be. Just gonna leave. Will there be text or dialogue balloons? Well, she's screaming as she's running away in this particular scene, so probably I will add like some text below of her screaming Kia. Classic anime scream. Hang on, wrong. You know, classic anime scream. It'll look exactly like that, of course. Yeah, there you go. Kia! Perfect. Yeah, I'll probably add that in later. There's still like a lot of dialogue in the book that I want to also fuss over. But you know, that's kind of something that can go last on the list of things that need to be done for a comic. Because for the most part, the story is all figured out. The outline, and I feel like a lot of the pages are solid. Not many of them need much more editing. There are some spots where I'm like, maybe I could add a page or two here. But I don't have to. So if I decide to do that, it'll be like a spur of the moment thing, I guess. Or it'll be me fussing over a scene that didn't need extra pages, but I put them in anyway, you know? It's one of those things. I think there's a lot of cases where you don't really need to add an extra scene, but you could instead just tweak the dialogue a bit and have it serve the same purpose as whatever you needed the extra scene for. A lot of stuff like that. A lot of situations like that. But yeah, dialogue and fixing typos and all that stuff, it's all kind of last on the list of things that you need to prepare for a comic. Of course, typos are quite a bitch, especially when you're doing long comics like these. Like First Reaper book, longest comic I had done at the time, right? It was only like 108 pages, but typos managed to slip through, and part of that is just because it's a lot of pages, and I need people to like read it and call out typos and stuff. I don't think any, I could be wrong, but I don't think any typos slipped by Sonic City Witch. I had a couple people read that one ahead of time to like call out a typo for me. That's helpful. That is helpful when you have like more than one or two people beta reading it and catching stuff like that. And I would recommend that for most people, to just, you know, have people that you can call on, that you can spirit summon for when you need someone to read your writing and check if it has typos or mistakes, or even just story things, just to let you know if something comes off confusing, or if a scene didn't have the impact that you needed it to have. Stuff like that. But yeah, I might do the same with book 2, because this is an even longer book than the first one. It's double the length, which probably means it's double the typos, you know? To be fair, a lot of the pages are action pages, which are not dialogue heavy, so maybe it's not gonna be that big of a deal. Of all things to fuss over, you'd think I would fuss over like the words a lot more, but you know, the letters kind of blend in my head after a while, and my brain will auto-correct things. So it's difficult. Even in other people's comics, I've not always caught every single typo. I'm a little bit more alert, I guess, when I'm reading other people's comics, because you don't have that bias behind it. You're like reading it fresh for the first time, so you're more likely to catch a typo. But, you know, with my own stuff, it's so much more tricky. Ugh. You can fill in the gaps manually with the straight line tool. Yes, I could. I could certainly do that. Should I do that? I don't know. I certainly could. You know what else I could do? Which one is this one? But also, oh, it's bigger than I thought. Could also do that. Eh? It's kind of a janky way of fixing things, but if it works, it works. I did cover the gaps, right? What do you think? 10 out of 10? Kind of makes like a perfect circle because it is actually just the same. I could fuck with it a little bit more. Although if I fuck with it too much, who knows what'll happen. Yeah, well, we'll just leave it alone for now. Sorry, fussing. I'm fussing. You got me fussing, man. Alright. So, it's, you know, I'm really surprised, honestly, that it took 2 hours just like chatting and doing tones for this page. I could start another page. I could pull up a page that's halfway done and do like more panels for that. But gotta be honest with you, I'm already kind of zonked. Just like, so I'll sit around and I'll do pages for hours and hours at a time, but streaming the pages is this whole other energy that you need. It really is different, you know? And I'm already feeling kind of tired just from the extra social energy that gets put into making a stream. Entertainment of people's, you know? Don't mind me, I'm just fussing. Just fussing. Looks better. I like it. I like it more now. I like pop. Yeah. Pop good. Not music, just like contrast. Anyway. Can I write the theme song Magic Chicken, You've Got a Friend? Yeah, go for it. Yeah, I think the page looks good, for what it's worth. It's kind of sequence of like images that. Let me see if I can find the other page. I'll just pop it up. I know I've shown it before in like the last stream, but pop it up again, yes. So their plan is originally, okay, we'll get rid of this monster by luring it over to the chicken. While it's eating, you know, we'll escape. And then, almost as if she was shoehorned into the comic series, I wouldn't know anything about that. This girl just pops in and she's like, oh my god, it's my loving pet chicken, who I love. Love this pet chicken. Anyway, what are you guys doing? And then that leads to this. So, you know, it's funny, perhaps a little meta, but I like it. It's a good sequence. The dialogue will not be what I just... I'm like paraphrasing, obviously. But yeah, she's basically like, yeah, what do you... But anyway, what's going on over here? It's just like, monster behind them, ready to eat. It's a good sequence. That's good stuff. So naturally, I need it for the trailer. Because... gotta have your favorite sequence in there. I think you'll like, I think you guys will like the trailer. right now, I gotta figure out sound effects, and I guess I already know what I'm doing for the music, but I'm probably gonna fiddle with it, but a little bit more. I commissioned someone else to do a song also, but I don't think they're going to be finished their song in time for the trailer. Otherwise, I would probably use that. We'll see. We'll see. Maybe there's going to be a last-minute change on the trailer. I switch out songs and use theirs instead. But right now, it's looking like I'm 2 different songs for the trailer and like kind of mash them and try to get everything to fit with the images and whatnot, which is tricky. Never underestimate trickiness of trying to get a proper AMV trailer with comic images. It's not actually going to be AMV style, but you know what I'm... And yeah, I'll also get to show off the different tiers that I've been cooking behind the scenes. Some of you on Subscribestar already know what to expect, but even the people on Subscribestar are gonna have a couple surprises thrown at them. Haha. I got new things to give to you. The bookmarks were cool once upon a time, but we're done with the bookmarks, sadly. So if you got one, treasure it always. Because I don't know if we'll make any more bookmarks. Those are cool though, I like them. I know, very, very obvious. Of course, the creator of the comic likes her own bookmarks made for the comic. Duh. Now, there's obviously like other things that we can do for future 3D printed stuff for the campaigns. For book 2, we didn't do any 3D printing though, but we could. Maybe I should add a surprise tier or a stretch goal. Ooh, stretch goals, remember those guys? Maybe I should add on something special for the stretch goal. We'll bring back the bookmarks if we reach 1,000 over or something. Yeah, I don't know. But we did do other fun things that I think you'll appreciate. Some accessories and whatnot. And of course I have some original art. I've been cooking some original art. I did 5 pieces. Out of those, I think maybe only 3 of them are usable. 2 of them I don't really like that much. And I was thinking about doing more, because really only 2 of them I think are good. Maybe I'm just fussing. Maybe it's just more fussing. But yeah. If I have time to do another art piece before the campaign, I'll do another art piece. But it's tricky. It's tricky drawing on paper and having it be perfect the first time. It's even trickier when you don't have it be perfect the first time and use a lot of whiteout. And then you get the same problem that I mentioned before of over-editing, where it's like, okay, at some point you need to leave it alone. At some point it's not going to start looking better and it's just going to look worse and worse. You gotta take your hands off the art piece and just be like, okay, it must be abandoned. Because at some point it's just going to be a layer of whiteout. No art anymore. But it's fine. Anyway, I think we're gonna call it here, but thank you guys for joining me on another Drawing with Dannphan stream. Sorry if I'm not super talkative, but I do have fun chilling with chat and getting to share some pages that I'm working on, getting to show you guys some progress and talk about like my grand plans for the series. It's, you know, it's motivating. And I think that helps a lot, especially for other artists out there, you know, trying to make it. I think it helps to have something motivating them to keep going so that it doesn't feel like it's all purposeless, you know? I think that's something that gets to a lot of artists, it gets in their head a lot, is that all this effort they're putting in is worthless, you know? I keep on saying you know a lot, but you know. So it's very helpful to have a supportive fan base like you guys, even if you're just chilling, just lurking on stream, just showing your support. I appreciate it. So, there you go. Thanks everybody for joining me. I'll probably see you Friday for the Friday stream, unless it gets canceled, but I don't think it will. No. Not that Friday. That Friday's special. So, thanks. I'll see you next time, and hopefully I'll have a new video out pretty soon-ish, maybe next week, I don't know. Good night, everybody.